Cancer, Cancer, what's up? Here's your reading for May of 2017. Already pre-shuffled the cards. It's going to get started. Guardian angels of love and light, ancestors lost and known in the seas of time, please intercede into this reading to provide Cancer with the clarity and direction as to which he or she seeks, and please grant me, the reader, the objectivity to read the cards and relay the messages as they are meant to be. Okay, Spirit, please release Cancer's first base card for May of 2017. Okay. The Ten of Wands. Spirit, please clarify with at least two cards why the Ten of Wands is here. Spirit, why is the Ten of Wands here for Cancer? Okay. We have the Mother of Cups. And the Nine of Wands. That's interesting, Cancer. Nine of Wands clarifying the Ten of Wands. It's pretty cool. Alright, Spirit, please release Cancer's second base card for May of 2017. The Wheel of Fortune. Spirit, please clarify with at least two cards why the Wheel of Fortune is here for Cancer. Why is the Wheel of Fortune here for Cancer? Okay, we have the Two of Wands. Cancer, we have a lot of fire energy here. Let's see why. Spirit, please release up to one more card, please, for why the Wheel of Fortune is here for Cancer. The Devil in reverse. It kind of got some of the same cards as Scorpio, but just in different positions. I've been noticing that in these videos this month, a lot of the same cards are popping up, just in different positions for like the same elements. It's very strange this month. But this Pluto retrograde, shoot, anything is anything but normal, right? Okay. Spirit, please release up to three cards for what's crowning Cancer. Okay. One more card, please. One more card, please, for what's crowning Cancer, Spirit. First, we have the Ace of Swords. We have the Hangman in reverse. And the Daughter of Wands. Okay. Spirit, release up to three cards for advice for Cancer. Two more cards, please, for Cancer. in May 2017 for advice for the situation at hand. Two more cards, please. Two more cards, please, for advice for Cancer. One more card, please, Spirit. All right. This was first. The Seven of Swords. Followed by the Four of Swords. And followed by the Nine of Cups. Yeah, this is a lot like Kent's. I mean, like the Scorpio reading. It's strange. Okay, let's go ahead and do this one first. Okay. Okay, so your first base card is the Ten of Wands. So we're feeling a little bit of maybe oppression, maybe some depression coming from it. And the Ten of Wands can also speak of cruelty to liberation. I want to say Libra got this as well. Which is also clarified by the Mother of Cups and also the Nine of Wands. So the Mother of Cups is someone who is somewhat earthy in terms of they're in tune with earth, kind of per se. They're a little bit of sort of plain. Also, they're honest. And they have sort of like a matriarch going on. And the Nine of Wands is basically great energy, but also a little bit of arrogance, but also resilience. So Cancer, I'm kind of picking up on why are we oppressed, or why are we in that state of depression? Or we feel like we sort of are. Cancer, I kind of feel like you're not freeing yourself this month, or that there's something going on that causes you to not feel free. But I feel like it's kind of coming from you a little bit. It's kind of perpetuated through yourself. Because in your thoughts, the Daughter of Wands is someone who has abundance and joy and good sense, and also culture. You know, they're very cultured, I should say. But the Hangman right here in reverse is kind of going through with their actions, coming out of that state of sacrifice and coming out of that state of letting go, because you've already went through that. But I feel like you're moving forward with those tools now that you've acquired from letting go and from sacrificing. And also in your thoughts, you have the Ace of Swords right here too. And the Ace of Swords is intelligence and clear thinking. Also powerful personalities and powerful emotions also involved in this, which kind of coincides with the Ten of Wands here. Going back to what I was saying about this kind of being egged on maybe through you or through your actions. Because in your mind, Cancer, you kind of, I feel like you want to reach a point in which you're free from something, from where you're free from having to deal with some of the issues that are being presented to you. But I kind of feel like you want this new beginning, but at the same time, I feel like you're continuing to go on with the situation at hand. And I feel like this oppression or this depression that's going on is causing you to it's not being put into action, really, I want to say. Because the hangman here in reverse, when I was saying how it's putting those thoughts into action or that sacrifice or that letting go, but it's only in your thoughts though, Cancer. I feel like you're allowing some of what's going on in terms of the physical realm or the physicalities that are on this earth. You're allowing them to just continue on. Because I feel like you're conjuring up in your mind this good start and this wanting to move forward. But I feel like it's not actually happening though, Cancer. Because in your advice section, Spirit's advising you that you need to have that moment of stillness with yourself through the Four of Swords here. You need to calm yourself, but calm your physical self. Because I feel like in your mind, yeah, there's some pre-planning going on, but I feel like that's all that it really is at this point. And Spirit's also advising you through the Seven of Swords to leave the situation that you're in. And you may have already implemented this, or you may have, when I say implemented, I mean cognizantly or cognitively, I should say. You've implemented this. And you may have actually put some of this into action. But I feel that it's more of a mind thing that you have going on. I feel like there was a release of some kind, and you may have kind of done it. But I feel like in your mind, you're having a hard time wrapping around that this needed to sort of be done. You feel like you do have an idea that it was a good decision. But I feel like you're going back and forth with yourself a little bit. Because you need to leave the situation, like the Seven of Swords here, but you need to leave it completely. You need to not continue on with this physical dependence. Now, I'm not speaking of any kind of substance or any kind of, let's leave it at that. Any kind of substance. It's more of a physical need, I feel. And I feel like you need to be honest with yourself, Cancer, about this physical need that you require, which I don't blame you. I really don't. But I feel like you need it at the same time, but I feel like it's not coming from a good source. Because I feel like the source of it is oppression and depression. And it's causing you to kind of look at this freedom physically as something that you don't, as cruelty sort of to yourself. I feel like the physical you and the emotional you, in a sense, are not really matching up, or that it's causing some friction within yourself. Because you do have that idea that this was great, which I think that it is, but I feel like you're still bound to certain things. And you need to be resilient, and you need to bring everything together, Cancer, and you need to completely move on from the situation that's going on. Because the Mother of Cups is someone who is honest with themselves and they're honest with other people. But I feel like this is more about yourself, though, Cancer. I really don't feel like it's about someone else. I mean, someone else may be the root of it, but I feel like it's more within you. It's something you're battling with yourself. Because also the Ten of Wands is just being held down and not freeing yourself. And also, it's interesting how it's cruelty to liberation. Why do you feel like the liberation is something cruel to you? Or that it's looked upon as something negative in a sense? Which it's not, Cancer. But you're going to have to find that deep-seated, rooted issue as to why I'm kind of picking up on that you don't deserve this freedom. Or maybe you're a little afraid, Cancer, of what the freedom can bring. But we have to remember that freedom brings us endless possibilities. Because when we're free to do what it is that we want or that we like, it leads us to other avenues that we can go down that we never foresaw. But at the same time, we have to remember, Cancer, that along with freedom comes responsibility. And I feel like within this spread, Cancer, the responsibility is to yourself. Because we can't put our worth and we can't put our essence of who we are in the hands of other people or in the hands of the power of other people. Because I feel like, Cancer, there's some power going on in terms of that's being placed over you, or that's, I don't want to use the word bestowed because it's kind of not maybe the right fit, but bestowed in terms of it being placed on you. But this power that's being placed on you, or that you feel is, or you feel it as a burden, is causing a lot of depression within your life. Because whenever we have two numbers and the card between it is something that we have to, it's a decision that we must make. And right now, in the way that these cards are placed, and this was not intentional, but the way that it was placed, you came up in your reading upright, which is pretty good. But you have to decide between fortune or do you want power? But I feel like in this reading, Cancer, it's more of fortune in terms of emotional breakthroughs for yourself. And it's fortune that's something of substance or something that you can't buy. It's something that is earned, and it's something that must come from within you. Because ironically, water, which is the Nine of Cups and the Mother of Cups, or do you want the fire? Because does the fire put the water out, or does the water put the fire out? Because I feel like everyone does want to have that power, because along with power comes control. But as a water sign, having that control becomes somewhat of a job for you, Cancer, that I feel like you're not really, I'm not saying that you can't handle it, but it's something that is indifferent to you. Because water is free flowing, it goes where it decides to go. And it acquiesces to the things that are around them. But fire, in terms of power, given that, it's wands, is something that's created. And it's something that isn't not necessarily natural in terms of in you. But it's a power in terms of fire is a creation of something. It takes a lot of energy to keep fire going, right? It takes a lot of different elements. But with water, it's a life source. It's a way. It's something that is, I don't want to make this a chemistry reading, but it's something that supports life. And it's something that is the root of life. I'm not saying that fire is not, but fire must be created through force, where water is abundant. And it's a creation within itself. So I feel like, Cancer, you're going to have to decide between, do you want the fortune of controlling your emotions and having those emotional breakthroughs, or do you want the power of maybe not necessarily having those breakthroughs, of forcing those breakthroughs, but nothing comes through when it's forced. It's not a breakthrough. It's a breaking of the through, in a sense. And Cancer, you're going to have to dig really deep and see why this power is causing depression, and it's causing you to go back and forth with yourself. And where is the power coming from, though, Cancer? That's another thing you need to, if you decide that it's something of an outside influence, where is it coming from and why is it there? And why are you allowing it? Most importantly, why are you allowing the power to become oppressive? Because we have the Wheel of Fortune right here, which is luck, which is a change of direction, but of luck. And if you see, look at this card real closely, there is water involved at the bottom. Who's going to steer that wheel? Is it going to be you, or is it going to be someone else? And the only way, Cancer, that this wheel is going to start to be turned, or going to start to go in a direction of positivity, or in a direction that is transformative, is when we break that cycle, Cancer, of being bounded or addicted to certain things that cause oppression. When we stop allowing those things that keep us bound to actually have and exert that power over us. Because whenever we're bound to something, or we find it, or it has an addictive property to it, we automatically allow that power to come, which causes the oppression as well. And the Two of Wands here in reverse is voluntarily giving your power away. And it's also the misuse of power. Because with power comes responsibility as well, but then it also comes with the chance or the likelihood of it transpiring into being used inappropriately or misusing that power. Because with the Two of Wands comes, when it's upright, when the Two of Wands is upright, it means power and strong will, but it also means spiritual truth when it's upright as well. But not too many people that have certain amounts of power actually come to that conclusion that it's spiritual truth. Because in power, we must see the truth. And when you see the truth, you don't misuse it. But it's interesting how when it's in reverse like this, it's voluntarily giving your power away that you have over yourself. And it also leads into adventures, but not necessarily great adventures, adventures of finding things out. But we don't know where that adventure is going to lead us to. Because we can't allow those people or those things to keep us down like that, Cancer. Because I feel like in your mind as well, Cancer, since we have the Daughter of Wands here, that you feel like this power is something that's going to bring you good. But I don't believe that it really does. It really doesn't, Cancer. And ironically enough, Cancer, I forgot to look at the bottom of the deck here to at the beginning of how you're coming into the reading. I normally don't not ever forget that, but I forgot it this time. But check it out. I believe this happened for a reason. Because this is a blank card. This is endless possibilities. I want to say Scorpio got this as well. Because what ends up coming on this card, or ends up gets placed or decaled or put upon this card, is something that you choose. What it is, what are you going to choose, I should say, Cancer, that you want to place on it? Do you want this to be the depressive you and the oppression coming from you? Or coming on or bestowed upon you that's keeping you down? Or are you going to paint the picture that you want to see? Are you going to allow other people to control your destiny? Because I don't really think so, Cancer, because you want to control your own destiny. But the only way that this is going to happen is when you make that decision and when you say enough is enough and I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm going to move on from this situation. Because Spirit's telling you right here, you need to leave this situation. You really do. Because it no longer serves you. Because of the depression. This card specifically means when it's upright like this, it's depression. Which also has to do with the Ten of Wands. Oppression and depression and cruelty to liberation. You have to free yourself. You can't be cruel to yourself in keeping yourself in this cycle. Because you need to have that stillness, like the Four of Swords here suggests. And you need to calm yourself in terms of calming your mind and calming your emotions. Because it's only going to bring fortune. And it's only going to bring those things that you need to move forward. But you'll never gain them if you don't actually make that decision. It all starts with the mindset. You have to make it. And I feel like you kind of did, Cancer. But you're beating yourself up about making that decision. You're going back and forth. But when you do that, there's still a little bit of you that's holding on to it. And you can't hold on to it because once you make a decision, it's made. And think about all the work that you came to actually make that decision. And then you're going to go back and allow it to then to bound you. Because this right here, Nine of Cups, is emotional breakthroughs and generosity. Are you going to be generous to the liberation or cruel to the liberation? You can't have both ways. And this fire energy here is really destroying you. It's causing a lot of upheaval in your life. You need to take your matriarch back. And you need to start to be honest with yourself, Cancer. Because you do have that clear thinking in a sense. This can come from actually changing those things in your life and not accepting the power to control you like that. This is also the card of powerful personalities and powerful emotions. But what type of power is it? Is it your power or is it someone else's? Because I feel even in your thoughts. It's the Daughter of Wands here. I feel like, Cancer, there's something going on where you're continuing to have or allow that power, like I keep saying, to control you because it's still in your mind. It's still a part of something or a part of you that's going on. Or it's continuing to destroy you because you're allowing it to. Because this may have been a very tough thing to, not may have, it is a tough thing to have to deal with. All that fire on you like that and keeping you down. But if it's keeping you down, why is it still sticking around within your mind and the things that are in your thoughts and they're crowning you? You have to let it go already. You do, Cancer. You have to let this go. Enough. Even Spirit's telling you right here, the Seven of Swords. You need to leave the situation. And the only way you're going to leave that situation is if you have that stillness and that moment of clarity and calming yourself and saying, you know what, I'm not going to do this because I'm going to change my thinking patterns. Well, specifically maybe this area right here, but because when you change your thinking patterns, that's when the fortune comes in and that's when the good luck starts to happen to you. You need to make that decision already. And have that clear thinking. It's almost there, Cancer. You're almost there, but you can't allow that anymore. Enough's enough. But only you can make that decision. It could be, a Leo Sagittarius or possibly an Aries. That could be, that's fire energy in a sense. Could be their moon rising or sun sign. Because you can't allow that person or that something to control you anymore. And I feel like, Cancer, you have moved past that a little bit. You have started this moving forward. But you're going to have to really implement it. Because the best analogy I can use is the trick isn't getting the job. The trick is keeping the job. And I feel like right now, Cancer, you're at that stages where you got the job. But are you going to keep it? Or are you going to actually put the work in that comes with the job? Because you can't voluntarily give your power up. We all have it. We all have that power in us. But when we give it up, we lose a sense or a little bit of ourselves. Because we can't allow that anymore. I'm going to go ahead and pull some cards, Cancer, for advice on how to maybe move forward from this. Spirit, please release up to 3 cards for how Cancer can move forward from the situation at hand. For Spirit, how Cancer can gain their power back and not allow others to exert it upon them, which causes oppression and depression. Okay. This one down the floor here. The 4 of Stones in reverse. And then this one right here is upright. We have the 7 of Stones. Put one more card. Spirit, please release up to 1 more card for how Cancer can move past this period of oppression and depression from their power. Okay. The Queen of Wands. So the 4 of Stones here speaks of, when it's in reverse, speaks of losing your place and also fear. Let me see, that was the 4 of Stones. And then the 7 of Stones here, when it's upright, is discord, not being on the same page, and also failure, I should say, without careful redirection. Mother of Wands, someone who's wild, it could be a little dark, it could be powerful. Also, they carry a sexual energy with them. And it's funny, Cancer, how I was saying the physical in the beginning, how I kind of got like the physical power, the physicalness of something. Look at the card. Right in the center right there. There's a little freakiness going on there. See it? I just realized that right now. I was like, whoa. Look what's going on there. A little bit of intercourse, a little copulation going on there. Because, Cancer, when we lose our place and we let fear take in or overcome us, it leads to that failure, and it leads to Yeah, basically the failure, but without careful redirection, because then when we allow this to happen is when we allow the wild and the dark things and the powerful energy to overtake us, to overcome us. So we need to have a more clear direction and not have failure redirect us. We need to get up, Cancer, and we need to know that what it is that is keeping us bound in a sense, and that power is not gonna be, you can't allow that anymore. Bottom of the deck right here, 7 of Wands. And this is when your courage isn't there, when it's in reverse like this. This is also losing the nerve to move forward and hesitation. Because when that happens, you end up the Daughter of Cups and not the Mother of Cups, right? The Daughter of Cups is someone who has strength of character. They're peaceful and they're calm as well. But it's just strength of character. Yeah, that's cool. But do you act upon that strength? You have it. But are you actually implementing that into your life? Because then we have the Six of Swords here in reverse, which is needing objectivity and honesty. You need to be honest with yourself and say, why am I allowing this? That's the objectivity. Okay, Cancer, that concludes your reading. Be strong, you can move on. You got this. It's in your mind already. Now you need to actually put it into action. All right, Cancer? Well, I hope you enjoyed your reading for May of 2017.